5, which is up here in the low pass filter area. So C5 is up in this neck of the woods. C6, C5 right there. That's a real long lead. Again, couldn't find them in the style that we had, so I had to take what I could find. C6 is pretty much right next to it. So I'll cut this off. Okay, C6 is right next door. Okay. Now if I can find something further away, I'm not going to get it. This is starting to get a little hairy, especially with that big long lead sticking out, so I'm going to go over someplace else. I'm going to now pick his C16 over here, so I'll go get C16 and do that one. Whoops. So you try to, put as many parts on the board, but spread them out so that you don't have all the leads all fighting each other for when you want to put the soldering iron in there. Okay, so here's one down here, C17 down there, so I'll put that guy in. And spread these. I think we've had enough. We can solder up those guys. I would say that it's important in this particular kit more than any others that you have your specs updated, or if you don't have very good eyesight, to make sure you're using a sort of binocular vision, Magnavision things. I have some out in the other shop, but I've got a relatively new set of glasses on, so I'm okay for soldering. I'm not okay for reading them. Okay, there's one. Okay, let's go down in here where this C of, there these guys are down. This is C3, C4. Whoops. Alright. Got a little excess solder on that lead. It was wandering around. I don't want that to happen, so. There we go. I saw that pile up, but it didn't flow down on the pad, so I had to wait for it to flow on the pad. Okay, this guy up here's needs to be done. I'm not touching the pad with my iron. That's not good. When you're soldering, you need to have the iron touching the pad and the lead if you can. There it goes. It instantly flowed when I did that. Now it's getting a little dense right in here. I probably shouldn't have put these parts all together. They should have been staged. I can get in there with this iron. See, I started building kits when I was about 12. I built my first Heath kit when I was 12. It was 61 years ago. So I've been building for a while. Okay, let's cut these guys off. And get these real long ones here. Oop. Back these shorties. Got a little residual magnetism on my pliers, so they have a tendency to hold on to the lead. I gotta get rid of them. Okay, so we've got, most of the capacitors are done, but we still have some more. So I'll get that out of the way, and I'll start emptying the rest of this guy. C7 and 12. These two guys, C7 and C12. Cut them off. Whoops, wrong one. Okay, C7's got to be up in this neck of the woods. C7. There's C7 right there. C12. C11, C10, C14. There's C12 right in here. Okay, let's see. Next one is C8. C8. I could have sworn I saw that just a second ago. C8 right there. And also C10. C8 and C10. That was up top side. Okay. I'm going to bypass 9. I'm going to go to C11. C11. Oop, right there. And I'm going to do this C15. It's a little shorty. C15. C14. Oh, C15 way over here. Okay. I'll solder those up. Again, I'll clean the tip. You always want a good clean soldering iron tip, clean solder, and clean board. You can't solder through dirt. Okay. And let's see, this one right here. Okay, here we got another one. Now I do have on this video thing, this might be another problem in a big space like a billathon. The lighting is typically really bad. I have a couple of video lights for camera work lighting up this table. So my light source is pretty good here. If the light is bad, you're going to have a hard time seeing what you're soldering. So sometimes if you're in a billathon environment, it's nice to bring your own lamp. And it can be a battery operated or rechargeable lamp. Okay, how are we looking? Soldered, 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 soldered. Looks like we got them all. So again, I'll double check as I cut them off. This one looks good. Okay, I go down this corner. Everybody is happy? I'm happy. So, we've only got a couple of things left here. We got C9, which is this tantalum capacitor. Oh, we got a little bit of lead stick here. Whoop, It didn't fall off when I wanted it to. Okay, so I'm going to take this tantalum, and I can see that maybe, just maybe, what was that again? That was C9 up here, and I can see that this is in essence a 0.2, and that C9 is in essence a 0.1. So I'm going to go up here. Rather than try to stuff it in the board that way, it's a lot easier to unbend the leads. They start off as a 0.1, and then whoever put them on tape or what have you turned them into 0.2. So now this case is a plus and a minus. Plus is over on this side, so I'm looking for the plus side, and I'm making sure that's the plus side is over here. Plus side is over there. And there we go. And C14 is left, which is this 10 microfarad capacitor, electrolytic. It's a little bit on the tall side, so I'm going to just set that aside. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my other guy and get R24, because I found R24 down here. And R24, it's got a circle and a bar. R24 is actually a what they call hairpin style. So you bend one lead all the way around and you install it standing up. And the circle is where the body is, and the other one, so it goes in like that. So we just pull that off. That was one of the additions I did, which is why I wasn't exactly sure where it was. That's a recent upgrade to this kit. I built this kit many times before in the old style, but not with these added components. So now I'm holding this thing down with my finger, putting a little down pressure to keep the board from moving around. Go in there and get R24, then go up to the other side of the board and do this thing. Same thing, I'm going to hold the board down from moving and get in there and okay, there we go. Now, short of the C14, we've got all the resistors, all the diodes, all the chokes, everything on the board. So now we're pretty much left with sockets and connectors and the transistors. So we're going to take a break and we're going to put that on. I'll set up and I'll put that on part 2, because we can't generate the whole thing on one video. So I've discovered. So what I did is when I initially pulled the kit out of the bag, I pulled all the capacitors out and all the resistors and the things I had on these on the two sheets. You know, all the stuff that lies flat. Now I'll show you what I held back. These are all the really weird things that might not necessarily be flat on the board. So you got switches that stand up, you got ICs, you got sockets. So this would be phase 2, putting all the oddball stuff on. Now that we've got everything that's nice and flat to the board, now we can start going vertical. And like for instance, this guy right here sits in there. You can see the reason you don't want to do high stuff, because if I had to go and solder those guys, install them and stuff, tall things get in the way of putting small things in. So you always work on the low stuff and then move up. Or at least I always do it that way. So you don't have to, but if you want to fight components, you can do that. So I'm gonna shut this one down here and save this up online as part 1, and then we'll go after these guys and do part 2. Okay? So we'll see you later in part 2.